Back, Dr. Paul. PAC, your Public Affairs Center, has created two new platforms such as Children's Movement for Civic Awareness and Coalition Against Corruption. Can you briefly explain them?
The children's movement, CMCA, came about because of the feeling that many of the things we are preaching in terms of civic values, government listening to citizen feedback, these are values we need to imbibe when we are children. They will last longer when we learn them as children. To change the mindset or attitude or value base of someone who is already 40 or 50 is far more difficult. That was the beginning, and with Vrinda Bhaskar, one of our staff members at that time, we decided to set up civic clubs in schools in Bangalore, and she took the lead and a small group of people who worked with her. And this movement is extracurricular in the sense that it's not merely some teaching in the classroom where children may or may not pay attention, but actually involving them in projects outside of the classroom. So there's a volunteer for each school, usually a lady or a young person, man, who devotes time to go to the school, sit with the teacher, plan the activity. Then they bring children together from all the schools in an inter-school fest. Annually, at least once or twice, these events take place. Then they do things like they on a traffic day, policemen, they go and put a flower on the policemen, appreciating their services, or to the Paura Karmika to say, lowly workers who are serving us, to appreciate it. So we are, through this process, instilling a sense of civic or citizen values, what they should learn when they are still children. In one case, they did a survey using our own methodology on garbage in the system, and we had a public function where the city commissioner was invited to listen to their presentation. We did the analysis for them. Children did not. We are talking about 12 to 14-year-old children. And they made the presentation with so many schools, children, teachers present, and the city commissioner, municipal commissioner, listening to all this. They made very good presentation on where things were wrong,
Where the
problems are in which area and all that. And he said, in all humility, I must say, I feel like I was sitting in a class getting a grade from my teacher. So these children have given me the grade on how our agency and BMP is doing in this area of solid waste management, and thank you and so forth.
Did the commissioner act on it?
I personally did not follow. I suppose he would have taken some ideas from that. So CMCA now has been spun off as a separate trust. It works now not only in Bangalore but in several cities in Karnataka and even outside in other states. Mumbai has a chapter, Nagpur has one, Hosur in Tamil Nadu, within here Hubli, Dharwad, Mysore. So it has become a national movement working on its own with a very large, involving its focus is on children and these civic clubs. This is one. The Coalition Against Corruption was set up, and it's a combination or a mix of several NGOs in Bangalore, all of whom were interested in this cause, to deal with the problems people face in accessing Right to Information Act, if they don't know very much about it, to help them. But primarily to take up any bribery cases. If somebody feels, look, I really don't want to pay a bribe, but I'm finding it very difficult to deal with this agency, then this coalition will try and help them. They have arranged with a number of agencies in the city or in the government to appoint nodal officers, and many agencies have agreed. So our people can go and liaise with that officer and say, there is this kind of a problem, can you help solve it? And several such issues have been solved. But a major lesson we learned in the process is that many citizens are not willing to come forward. And this is why corruption persists. Because they would say, see, if my name is given, then this official knows about it, I have to go there again, I'll be in trouble. So the fear of revenge or retribution, that may not be safe, somebody can note this, even if my problem is solved now, next time he will take it out on me. That fear is very much there. And I thought that while we are all good in groups to stand up and shout, when our own individual cases come up, problems, we succumb rather than stand up and say, no, no,
We can't blame the citizen like that.
I mean, ordinary
Because
people.
he has to face again that same person. He
Exactly,
can
but you are
victimize
seeing
him.
it in Delhi now. Some of those people are being targeted now.
See?
Your income tax, your this thing, you know.
they will
So they learn from that and
The
say
state has a way of taking
it is
on
risky to challenge the state. So we need to find answers, and we thought that this coalition could be a forum to give strength to individuals. You know, when an organization takes it up, it is better. There are several other things PSC has done. One recent thing, which Times of India and others, all of you, the media reported, was a project on our cities that we took up. See, we don't have a good database on our cities. We know its budget, we know the agencies. But if you look at our employment opportunities, our economic growth, it is not Bangalore which will answer everyone's problem. People are all coming to Bangalore. What about the state of our other cities? So in Karnataka, 15 cities were looked at. And basic data on a variety of indicators about how this city is developing and functioning have been brought together. Such a database did not exist in our country. This whole work is going to be published now by Oxford University Press. It's ready as a book. But there were discussions within the city. We had a press conference on it. All of you in newspapers reported on it. It's another aspect of PSC's work. We are developing knowledge about what is right and wrong with our cities as a whole. For example, many of our smaller cities in Karnataka doesn't have any infrastructure or the facilities that Bangalore may have. But IT people and others eventually will be forced to go there. If those cities do not have those facilities, how will our industries go and establish themselves there? So in terms of government looking ahead and planning, we think the database that is being developed will be a good thing. Now the project is spreading to India as a whole. We are looking at the larger cities, Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, etc. Similar. So that's a knowledge building project, state of our cities. That's another one. A major project for which Gates Foundation is probably going to give about $1 million to PSC is on the working of our total sanitation campaign in the country. This is not urban. This covers the whole country, largely rural, on which government has spent a lot of money, government of India and the state. But the feeling is that we are not able to progress very much. So this is going to be an in-depth study. It will use report card ideas to see governments have put in money. They have built toilets. They are not being used or they are being misused. All of these things are going on. By getting such feedback and learning from some of the better places where it may have worked, we want to create again new knowledge, maybe new policies on how government should shift from something they were doing to some better policies or systems that may come out. So there are several things of that kind. One area where PSC had pioneered, but it's not doing much now because other people are doing it, is on the election front. We did that election campaign first, on the importance of getting information about candidates before we vote.
That's true.
You cannot go as an ignorant person and say he's from Congress.
People go and vote for parties.
Just party only and some caste or whatever. But can we look at their track record? What do they have to offer? What do we know about them? That has now become mandatory as a result of a case in the Supreme Court, as you know. We also looked at the electoral rolls and corrected them in Bangalore, etc. Now other groups here in the city are doing the same. We had mounted major campaigns on election, asking people you should come out to vote. For example, this children's movement had a badge which simply said, a child saying, for our sake, please go and vote. And it is pinned and shown to their parents and their neighbors. See? Children saying it is you're voting not just for yourself. Our own future and democracy depends on your vote and so forth. So several things of that kind have been done on election front, but beyond documenting that and encouraging many other groups to come into the fray, PSC is not doing so much now because it's only so many things that an organization can do. It should not spread itself too much.